I remember I had a coffee morning with a friend, and I was desperate at that point for someone to say to me, you know what, you've got a really good eye for interiors. And I was waiting for someone to give me permission to go and do my dream.
Interesting.
I think that for me, part of my journey and part of setting up Love Inc was overcoming that imposter syndrome. And I think it's something that really affects women. And then the next thing I know, she's like, oh, so I'd love you to make a neon for my store, my Elizabeth Street store for my Joe Loves brand. And I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to Jo Malone. Oh my, just like my head was exploding. I can't remember anything she said after that.
Hello, my name's Nicole, and I am very happy to be talking today to someone super special on this week's episode of The Big Chat. This is someone that, funnily enough, I've never actually met in person before, but I've known a lot about, and I'm really excited to have her in the studio today because she's very creative, and I just love everything that this woman's about. So I'd love to introduce you to Hannah from Love Inc Ltd. Hello, Hannah.
Hi. Oh gosh, I'm going to throw that straight back at you. That stuff is so nice and so true. How lovely.
How are you?
I'm really well.
Good.
Really well. Enjoying life.
Now, Love Inc Ltd. We've got some kind of good times going on in the studio today. Tell people that are listening about Love Inc Ltd. Tell them about what it's about, because they might not know by the name.
So Love Inc was born 9 years ago, and it came from a place of, funnily enough, love. And it's my opportunity to put more love into the world. And the reason that I'm all about that is that I was very blessed to have an amazing upbringing. I was brought up in Tunbridge Wells, and although my parents didn't have any money when we were kids, they had so much love and creativity, and that gave me so many gifts. And my biggest gift is the ability to love. And if I can share that with the world in whatever way that is, so I do that through the means of the sale of our products. We give to charities, local charities, small charities, and we've raised I think we're on about £4,000 to date, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it came about because I'd gone through my schooling and I was very average at school. There was nothing really I excelled in, apart from I had a passion for sociology and the study of people. I find people endlessly fascinating. I love meeting people from all walks of life. And there's something to gain from everyone that you meet. And so when I left school and I had a teacher who said to me, oh, have you thought about university? And I'd never thought about university. My parents had never sort of talked to me about going to university. And so that teacher really made me think, oh, yeah, maybe I should do that. And I did. I got my A-levels and I studied sociology at university in Birmingham. And when I'd finished my university, I saw an advert in the paper that said, do you want to earn lots of money? And I thought, oh, yeah, that's the job for me. I want to earn lots of money. I've never had money. So I went and worked in a recruitment, IT recruitment. And this was back in 1998 and it was all taking off. And it was really hard, as life can be. And we learn lessons through doing hard things, cold calling all day, 200 calls a day. But within about 12 months, I remember the day I got my paycheck and I'd earned $5,500 in 1 month. And at the age of, I think I was about 20, it was a huge thing. Coming from a position of nowhere, with no money, no one to kind of help me elevate that ladder, to earn all that money in 1 month was amazing. And I'd had to do various jobs whilst I was at university to fund myself. So I was cleaning in hospitals and all sorts of really horrible, hard jobs. But, they set you up for life. And my kids now, we're really privileged that we do have money and we have access to resources. But one of the things I'm going to make sure my kids do, I have 3 boys, by the way, 3 wonderful boys who are 15, 13 and 11. But all of them will be getting jobs at places like McDonald's, cleaning. Yeah. They need to learn that, good stuff doesn't come easy, basically. It's an important life lesson for them to learn. Anyway, once I'd kind of done my IT recruitment and made my money, I went travelling for a bit because I realised that actually money wasn't going to just open doors and make me happy, that there was more to life. And, reflecting as I was travelling, I kind of came back and went, I'm going to do something I love. When I come back, I'm going to do something I love. And I came back and I went straight back into recruitment.
You saw that £5,500 gleaming.
did.
It's like, I want to travel some more. I might just have one more paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was one of those things where before you know it, reality has
Of course.
kind of dampened your dreams, really. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I kind of thought maybe I'll do a plumbing course. Maybe I'll be a plumber and then I could do up houses, because my parents had renovated houses as I was a kid. We constantly were living through building work. So I I went back into recruitment, but I did happen to meet my soulmate, my best friend, who is an amazing woman and is like a mirror to me. And she's someone that endlessly inspires me with everything that she does. So there was going back into recruitment, at least I met her.
There was a reason.
It was absolutely life.
You needed to meet her.
Life had a plan.
Yeah.
So when I then met my husband, he was living in Tunbridge Wells. I was living in Birmingham. So I met him. I knew we were going to get married pretty quickly. It's kind of a whirlwind romance. And we moved back down to Tunbridge Wells. And then shortly after had the 3 boys. And when the boys, I'd been a stay-at-home mum for about 6 years and, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I thought I've got to start work again. I need to do something. I really lost my sense of self when I had the children when they were tiny. I kind of, didn't feel like I was contributing much to the world, and I just wanted to do something. And really my passion has always been design, interiors. And so I started Love Inc, and where I started it was a place, I remember I had a coffee morning with a friend, and I was desperate at that point for someone to say to me, you know what, you've got a really good eye for interiors. And I was waiting for someone to give me permission to go and do my dream.
Interesting.
I didn't feel like I could just go, oh, I'm really good at this. And then someone said to me, you know what, you should, because people were always saying, where did you get this? Where did you get that in my house? And, I'd be like, oh, boot fair, antique fair. And they'd be like, oh, I really like that. I'd be like, oh, thanks. And it was only when this friend said that to me, I thought, oh, I've got permission to go and do it. And now I look back and I think, oh my gosh, why did I wait so long for permission? Like, what was going on? I'm like a happy, well-adjusted, fairly confident human being, but I still didn't have it in me to go and follow my dreams. And so I think that for me, part of my journey and part of setting up Love Inc was overcoming that imposter syndrome. And I think it's something that really affects women.
Yes. Massively.
Hugely.
Yes.
And it's, I've done some talks before, and the message I really try to give out is give yourself permission.
Yeah.
Totally give yourself permission. And even if it's something you can't do, learn how to do it. Fail well, and you'll be brilliant at it.
And I think that is so key, because I've talked about that a lot with people, because I was the same. Even with setting up the soapbox, I needed someone else to say to me, can you do this? Yeah. And then I was like, yeah, I can do it. Yeah. But I couldn't, and it was all me, but I couldn't, it was that permission thing. Yeah. But someone else saying I could do it, then great. Yeah. I'll do a great job. And now I'm like, actually, I can kind of do anything that I want to do.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating how we can really sort of beat ourselves up about that.
Yeah, totally.
But then that's all part of learning, isn't it? And the failing thing is so key.
Yeah.
You've got to just try and do things within reason.
Yeah. There's a really good podcast by a lady called Elizabeth Day, How to Fail.
Yes.
She did a talk with Mo Gaudat.
Yeah.
Which is about, he was the chief business officer for Google X, and he's got an amazing story, and that podcast is well worth listening to, and we can put a link in the comments.
Brilliant.
I expect to it.
Yes.
But it's about, he did a whole theory on, he's a mathematician, and he did a whole theory on, happiness, and actually you can find this, and I don't want to ruin anyone who's going to listen to that podcast. Basically, something horrendously sad happens to him, and he has to re-look at life, and it is... It's really interesting how he talks about how we are in charge of our brains, and actually 60 to 70% of what our brains tell us is negative stuff.
Totally.
Every day. And you have to basically understand that your brain is a biological muscle in your body, and you have to tell your chimp monkey brain, as my friend says, shut up. I'm not listening to that. I'm gonna, I'm in charge of you, and I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. You know, and you have to cut that negative out, and that takes a lot of practice.
Yeah, it does.
You know, you have to put a lot into yourself.
And it's also the circle you surround yourself with. It's the people you surround yourself with. It's the noise. It's all of that. You know, it's not, people say just sort of cut people out. But unfortunately, sometimes you do have to cut some people out if there's toxicity there.
Totally.
Like you do with anything.
Yeah, you have to have boundaries in life, right? If you love yourself, and you should love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, then spend time on trying to love yourself. Find the beauty in yourself and, you know, share that with the world. With Love Inc, one of the things, so as well as kind of I wanted to do something, so the charity was one side that was going to raise some money for charity, but obviously I have to make it a viable business, which obviously it is after 9 years. And where I started from with the business was selling vintage and antique things, so one-offs, and I realized quite quickly that economically that wasn't going to be sustainable. You can't list all these things on the website. It takes so long to list, and you know, and my journey's been really interesting with the business in that at one point I was asked to go on a TV program called The Great Interior Design Challenge on BBC, and I was really excited because I thought, great, this is my chance to show the world what a great interior designer I am. And I went on and I went out after the first round and I was absolutely gutted. I was so upset and I thought, this is it, I'm awful, I can't do anything. Oh, why did I even go on the program? Stupid me, you know, stayed in bed crying, you know, listening to my negative voice in my head.
Yeah.
But actually, after a few days, I reflected and I listened to what the judges had said about me. And, you know, Sophie Robinson, who is one of my favourite interior designers, said, you know, she is the one to watch. You know, she's going to go big places. You know, she said amazing things about me. So just, although I failed well because I picked myself up and I learnt my lesson. And I was like, do you know what? Okay, that didn't work out for me. But it opened so many other doors, which led to me, you know, we did a pilot with Deborah Meaden when I had the shop on the high street, which was just amazing. Having Deborah Meaden and Theo Pathetis mentor me for a day was just, you know, mind-blowing. You're just sitting there going, God,
is this happening?
Is this happening to me?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know you wanted me to talk about high point for the business. I was at an exhibition up in London and I'd got really drunk with my friends the night before. So my Saturday boy was manning the stall for me and we just launched our neons and the neon, the reason I went into neon production was because I wanted to do a neon that said, "You are loved." Oh. So it's centre stage at this exhibition. It was at the Stylish show and we had the neon, "You are loved." And then in front of that, we had all of our scented candles. And Joe Malone was giving a talk at the show. Yeah. And my young Saturday boy, who was 18 at the time, and he was brilliant, he was great. But obviously he's not going to know who Joe Malone is. So Joe Malone comes up to him and is like, oh, tell me about, you know, this neon. And he tells her about, oh yeah, Hannah's great. She does these, she designs all this stuff herself and she made this neon. And he's like, and look at these candles, these scented candles. You know, you interested? To Joe Malone. I mean, oh my gosh. Like, brilliant. Yeah. So
what did she say? Did she buy a candle?
She didn't buy a candle. But what she did do, when I got there in my hungover state in the afternoon, I'm there and this woman comes up to me and she goes, oh, hi, you must be Hannah. And I'm like, oh. And I'm thinking, oh, do I know you? I don't know
one
who
of those
you are.
faces.
Because I didn't know what Joe, I knew the name, but I didn't know what she looked like. Yeah. And she starts talking to me and I realise there's this entourage of people writing down everything she's saying as she's talking. And I'm thinking, no, you're not. I don't know you from Tunbridge Wells. You're not a mum from school. Like, how do I know you? And then the next thing I know, she's like, oh, so I'd love you to make a neon for my store, my Elizabeth Street store for my Joe Loves brand. And I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to Joe Malone. Oh my, you know, just like my head was exploding. I can't remember anything she said after that, but I do remember they took a picture of me because she was, you know, it all happened. We made her a neon. It was amazing. It was really cool. Oh. And there was this picture of me with her. And literally, I remember trying to be really cool. And then when I look at the picture, I'm basically got both arms around her and I'm holding on to her for dear life. And you can see this and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? Who is this woman?
But I love that as well. Just that you're just, you know, the joy that you find in that. I can relate to that a lot. I have a friend in the States, and I'm just she just knows everybody, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's Brad Pitt. Yeah. She's just like, just go away. You're humiliating me.
Come on, Brad Pitt. Who's not going to get excited?
Like, how can you not get excited about things like that?
Yeah,
but
totally.
but that's an amazing story. And like you say, I mean, you got on that show.
Yeah.
So many people don't even get these opportunities.
Totally. Yeah.
And then you have all these other things that come up.
Yeah, totally.
And your appreciation for them as well is so much greater.
Yeah.
So you had I remember, did you have a shop that was in Ely Court? Was there one there?
We did, yeah. So we had a shop in Ely Court in Victoria Place. That was quite a while.
That was a
It's
long
about 8
time
years
ago, wasn't it? And that
Yeah.
was, I mean, how was that at that time? Because I remember that it's changed so much up there now, hasn't it? The high street.
So it was interesting. They were trying to get people into the shops in Ely Court, and they put a few shops in. And we did okay. We opened the shop in about September, October time. So it was the run up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And we did quite well. And it was just a trial to see how it went. And then at Christmas, I think we carried it on for a couple of months, but it was dead. It was, and
I have a B positive piece of wallpaper framed
I saw
in my
that.
office that came from that
I
shop.
saw that.
I saw it and I was like,
"Oh."
it's wrapping paper, but I'm going to put it in a frame and I'm going to put it on the wall so all my
Yeah.
team see it. But that was there, I remember. And then of
Yes.
course you had your shop in the high street.
Yes.
And that must have been quite a big thing to go from the top of town to the bottom of town.
It was, because the top end of town was kind of like a trial. Let's see if this works. Let's see if the money works. And it was fine. And we didn't have to pay business rates. But as soon as we moved to the high street, we had to pay business rates. And that's when we made a tiny loss. And for the amount of work that was there, it made sense to move everything online. And that's what we did. And it was a great decision because, it meant that we made profit, which ultimately, if you're a business, is what you need to do. And if you want to give money to charity, you have to make a profit to be able to do that.
Absolutely. And also, and there's also you're available to buy through. Is it not on the high street and places like that?
Yeah.
So where else are you stocked?
So we're stocked not on the high street, Etsy. We supplied Rocket St George with all the neons, Graham and Green. We've worked with some amazing companies.
Brilliant. What's the most unusual? I mean, it's going to be a difficult question to answer, isn't it? Because everyone's going to want to say it was my neon. But what's one of the most interesting neons that you've bespoke neons that you've done for someone, that you've created for someone? Do you literally get people like me come to you and go, I really, a bit like I did with Hugh Whittaker, I'll be like, I want this.
Yeah.
Make something.
Yeah.
Is that what you get?
We get loads of random stuff, actually. It's really fun, especially when they don't know what they want for the design. That's quite fun because we're like, we could have so many ideas. We get about half and half. Half of people come to us and go, I want a neon, I don't know what it says. And I always say to people, what's your favourite song? Or is there a phrase you have in your family or a favourite quote? Think about that. And that often gives people lots of inspiration because music is inspirational. And then the other half, you go, this is what I want, but I don't know what I want. Then we'll design it for them and, help them with colours and explain what, UV printing is and how, because our neons are LED.
Yeah.
So you can touch them. So traditional neon is glass neon.
Yeah.
So you can't actually physically touch it because you would burn your hand. And equally, it can break quite easily because it's glass and it's got poisonous gases in it because that's what gives it the colour. So if it breaks, it's not great, really. So ours are, we have so many different colours, which is really, really fun choosing colours.
How did you did you just wake up one day and go, I'm going to make neon? I mean, where did this...
So it came from, like I said, I knew I wanted a neon that said you are loved. And so initially I didn't even realise I was going to manufacture it because this journey, so when I started out buying and selling the vintage stuff, realised there was no money in that. Then I designed a range of children's placemats that we still sell today that are all printed down the road in Frant.
Yeah.
And they sell amazingly well, which is fantastic. And then so I kind of, by mistake, thought what things that I wanted that didn't exist. I was like, right, how do and I just teach myself, right, so I've just got to find a manufacturer. And now I've got to find out about CE testing, and now I've got to do, okay, right, fine. And you just keep going. I guess you just have to be quite tenacious and resilient and just not give up.
Yeah.
You can't give up.
And also I love that. It's like if there's something that you want that's not there, because I do that quite often. I'm like, I would like this service, or I would like this event, or I would like this, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then that's how it happens.
Yeah, we're the dream makers, right?
Yeah, and just pulling on things that you love and that inspire you.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me, that if you do something that's heartfelt, if you do something that's honest and real, people resonate with that. People can tell. I mean, it's like, I know one of your questions was, what's my biggest low? And it's something that happens to us all day, every day. And it is that we are copied. And I get people coming to me with my own images that I shot in my styling room going, oh, we can manufacture these lights for you. Why don't you look at these lights we made? And I think, you're using my image. If you go on eBay, I can't even go on eBay anymore because it's just full of people using my images and my designs. It's really hard because the time it takes to report them all, show them the copyright, the infringement of the copyright on Instagram, on Etsy, on everywhere. That for me is the hardest part, being copied. But you just have to kind of go, Well, do you know what? It's a compliment. And actually, my gift is that I can come up with something else, new, original, something that no one's seen before.
And also, I think people buy into people, and they buy into a brand, and they'll know you. And certainly, like the way I am, if I purchase from people or I work with people creatively, then I just keep working with them because it's that whole experience.
Yeah.
And I imagine you have that with a lot of clients and customers.
Yes.
And so sometimes if you're going to miss out on someone because they'd rather buy it from some Chinese rip-off on eBay for $2.99, well, then there you go.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You know, you're getting a light that's not certified here in the UK.
It's probably going to burn you or smash you. You know,
totally.
Exactly.
We've put our lights through all the CE testing here because we have to do that because we're seen as the manufacturer. Going back to people we love, Craig David. Oh, I love Craig. So Craig has bought so many lights.
Has he?
He's our he's our best customer. He's fantastic.
Did you get to meet him at Pub in the Park?
Oh no, I didn't.
Surely he would have just had one of your lights up there. No. You could have manifested that in some way.
Oh well, totally.
He was at Pub in the Park.
Yes, he was.
He
was. Yeah, he was. Yeah. But he is our favourite. We're really lucky. We've had a lot of celebrity customers. And
How lovely.
Yeah, it's a real oh my gosh. I remember the day that I answered my phone because I work from home and I was like, "Hello, Love Inc, Hannah speaking."
He didn't
Hi,
sing,
Hannah, it's Craig.
David.
I was like, "Oh, hi." Breathe. But he's just he's our favourite customer because when we said to him like, "Oh, Craig, you know, we love you and you're brilliant and thanks so much for ordering for us," he's like, "Oh, do you girls want free tickets to my concert?" We were like, yeah. So me and the team, but we were due to go to see him and lockdown happened, the first lockdown, so we
call out to Craig David for more tickets.
Oh, don't worry, he's still buying neons.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, you get to meet so many different people. As well.
But just by putting this dream into the world, right?
And
how amazing is that?
Just seeing the joy that other people, because it is, I mean, look at it. I mean, it just lights up everything. Have you got a favourite neon of your own?
I would say last week, one of my best girlfriends turned the big 50. And they were over the summer after kind of all of us having no fun. I managed to do 3 music festivals back to back. And the first one was with her. And it's the most beautiful colour. It's our peach pink, which I love, which you can't get. To photograph it, it just doesn't, you can't get the true colour. So you kind of, everyone come to my studio, come see how beautiful it is. But it says "in a field with you."
Do I know this person? I think.
Do you know Vicky Watts?
Yeah, I knew that. I knew who it was.
Yeah, the sellers.
Yeah.
She's married
I
now,
thought it
married,
was. I saw you at the festival. I was due to go and I didn't go in the end.
It was
but
so
yeah,
much
I
fun.
saw you having some fun. And yes, so I kind of
did.
thought that was who you were talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's how. I mean, what a gift.
Yeah, totally. So at the moment, that is my favourite. And I think we're going to launch it actually because I think a lot of people will like it. And we're going to launch it as a print because we've just started doing prints and. I might put it on a mug as well, actually, because our mugs sell really well.
But you're so creative. I mean, don't you find that the minute you start creating, it's just like...
Oh my gosh, you can't stop it. I'm a nightmare.
It's great.
It's great. It is great. But I will literally, you know, and I've got a great team. My girls that work for me are amazing. They are my everything. They are the reason I still have a business because, you know, they're my absolute cheerleaders, support team, brilliant people. But they are really good at reining me in. So I'll go, "I've had an idea. Why don't we do this?" And they'll be like, "Well, that's quite good." And then, but you know, in that way that you have to have big ideas and then you have to kind of edit them, refine them, look into the manufacturing. Oh my gosh, that's horrendously expensive. We're never going to make a profit on that. Okay, how can we do that idea but differently? And it's just about being able to change course, change tack. It's a bit like, you know, life is a journey, right?
Totally.
And you have to go through the ups and you have to go through the downs and you have to learn from all of it and you have to live all of it and you have to. So with the business, it's the same. You know, Joe Malone said, and I've given this advice to lots of people in business, never quit on a good day.
That is good advice.
I mean,
that is good
you
advice.
know, so when you have the best day, so when everything goes wrong, just think, and you were like, "I'm not doing this anymore, I'm fed up, I can't cope." then you have to go, okay, well, let's wait for the next good day and see if I still want to quit. And if I still want to quit, then quit. You know,
Absolutely.
life's too short.
Absolutely. And also just I think the experience that you gain from being able to do your own thing is just so valuable.
Yeah.
Like now I can't, sometimes I sort of daydream about what it might be like to just be employed.
Yeah, I know.
Get a
I know that
paycheck.
feeling.
Like sometimes,
Lovely.
I mean, it would need to be a decent paycheck,
Yeah.
but I'd be like, what would that be like? But actually, I can't, because to me, the life that I live and my business, it weaves into my world.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's no off switch, which is frustrating.
Yes, totally.
But equally, it enables me the freedom to live in my home and have my dogs. And I say to everyone that works for me, I don't want it to feel like work.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't feel, feels, of course, there's work to do, but it should feel like it's just part of life and an experience.
Yes, it
and
should be fun.
I think creativity is brilliant, because the more that certainly for me, I told myself for many years I wasn't creative. I mean, I got a job for a really famous magazine years ago as a part of their creative team. And I was like, I got it. And I was kind of like, well, how have I got this job? I'm not actually creative. I don't actually know. I'm winging it. I'm totally blagging it.
Yeah.
And I kind of boycotted it, which I did quite a lot in my youth. You know, I'll sort of ruin it before it ruins me.
Yeah.
And actually, the reality was, as soon as I actually started to be more creative in my environment when I was on my own, now I'm like the same. They tell me to shut up. I have too many ideas.
Yeah, brilliant.
But it's
fantastic.
It's that, and you're like, talk to me again about imposter syndrome, because this is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying about this with women.
Yeah.
And I do think this is fascinating, because we have children, we're mothers, we do lose the sense of self sometimes when we're mothers. I can resonate with that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of go back out into the world and we're finding our feet, and then it's a bit like, well, we're not allowed to enjoy all of this.
Yeah.
But we've still got to do everything.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I had my first baby and my husband saying, oh, we're going to a dinner party with some people from work. And the fear in my heart of having nothing to talk about that would be interesting. I was like, what on earth am I going to talk? Like, I don't have, people aren't going to want to know about, oh, there's a bus. Oh, well done. That's how you say dog. I mean, it's really hard to retain your sense of self when you become a mum, I think, because as women, we juggle and we put our all into things.
Yeah.
You know, we are able to do many things all at once. But I think that for me, the way I got rid of that imposter voice was A, trying, B, failing, C, getting back up and doing better things and learning, not repeating mistakes.
That's a good neon. Try, fail, get back up. Something a bit more eloquent. But I like that.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
amazing. You've got a book here. Talk to me about this book. What's this book doing loitering on my desk?
Yes, so I have got the book here, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And so I love a podcast. And this book came to me because I listened to Brené Brown. If you listen to the stuff she's done on she's amazing. I listened to her talks on vulnerability, which if anyone hasn't watched that TED talk, it's pretty mind-blowing and life-changing.
Yes.
Do that for yourself.
Do
If
it
you love
today.
yourself, do it today. And I think that's how I came across this book. I'm sure that at some point she talks about Glennon Doyle. I can't remember how I found it, but I think it's that way. And this book, Untamed, Stop Pleasing, Start Living, is about you've got one life, go and live it. And it is an amazing book, A, because it's full of really short chapters, so you can dip in and out of it, which suits me as a working mum. And equally, it has so many truisms in it about life. And I think, I can't remember if I have, I haven't underlined stuff in here, but I'm going to read it again and go through it and underline it, because it has, for me, it was like someone was speaking into my mind, into my life.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing book. Read it.
Brené Brown is. I mean, we're so lucky now with the resources that we've got to listen to some really inspiring people. I feel like that's given us a lot more opportunity to be open about all of these things that we're feeling. Because I feel like a decade ago, even then, we was experiencing all this stuff, but we couldn't really. You could communicate it with your close circle. But unless people were really talking about it, it's really hard. With running a business, I mean, how. It's tough running a business. What would you say has been the hardest thing for you with running your own business?
I would say the guilt of motherhood. The whole, I remember when I had my first son, a really good, in fact, she's my second son's godmother, Pip, and she said to me, drop the guilt. Whatever you do, drop the guilt. And that is something I have never mastered. And I don't think it is.
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
what that is.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
do you
yeah.
do that? Yeah.
You can't master it. And that's the
No.
other thing. I think we grew up, I'm 45 years of age, growing up in the 70s, 80s. You know, my role models, I was told I could have it all. I was told you can have motherhood and you can have a career. You know, you can have both these things. You can climb up a ladder and you can smash a glass ceiling. Turns out that was all BS.
It's fine, you can swear.
Because, God, don't give me permission to do that. It could
Not all
get
the time.
filthy.
Yeah, me too.
But it turns out that, you know, actually you have to accept that that isn't actually possible. You cannot have it all unless you have also a full-time nanny, you know, and then you've got the whole guilt of someone else raising your kids. And I don't judge anyone on how they do it. If you're doing the best you can, which again, there was a talk about Russell Brand and Brené Brown did an amazing talk on people doing the best they can, working with the assumption that everyone you meet is doing the best they can and how that changes your mindset. So if someone cuts you up in traffic, it's all right, they're just doing the best they can.
Absolutely.
You know, someone drops you, they're just doing the best they can, and how much grace that gives you to forgive people, which is quite powerful.
That's
I
very
listened to that.
No, but that's very
recently.
powerful.
Good.
That's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Yeah. Sorry, I told you I go on tangents all the time.
Don't be sorry. It's absolutely brilliant. It's what we want to hear about. It's the real stuff.
Yeah, totally.
I think, I mean, it's interesting as well. Look, we were talking to someone earlier today and she was sort of mentioning about bullying and also sort of people stepping away in times of need or times of hardship, but actually that's possibly more about them than it is about you, you know, rather than taking everything personally. And I know certainly when I did some training, coach training, it was all about that map, you know, NLP is all about map of the world. Everyone's got a very different map of the world. Just because one person reacts one way doesn't mean it's a reflection of something you're doing. And like you say, with that grace there, if you can see grace in situations, it's a much nicer place to live.
Oh, totally.
Than feeling angry.
But equally,
resentful.
I had a great conversation with a friend yesterday, and he said, and I thought this was really interesting, he said, the only emotion you can 100% count on is anger. And he said, not that that's a good emotion to have, but it's such an immediate and raw emotion that actually it's good if you can look at that. Why have I felt that? Why am I reacting this way? What is triggering me or that person? And I thought that was really interesting.
Well, they're lessons, aren't they? Anger, triggers are like, ooh, why did I just get so spiky about that? What is there inside here that I kind of need to deal with a little bit more?
Yeah, totally.
So with your business, I mean, I'm fascinated. Tell me about your team. You talk about your team. Where are you? I've got this like impression of these beautiful bohemian chic elves in this kind of wonderful lit up studio.
Yeah, fairly accurate actually. They are all very, very beautiful and very elf-like.
Sorry if that was like, you know, elves. I don't, but it's just like it comes across like magical.
They are amazing.
Ethereal, maybe.
Yes. No, they are totally wonderful. We have Jo who runs sales. She's like our business manager, keeps everything ticking over, keeps me on track with targets and reviews and new products and what are we doing about this. And so she's fantastic. She's like almost like our mum, really, because she's just the sensible one that's going to kind of go, but the reality is this, we need to look at this, which you really need.
Yes.
And I love the fact that we recently did some business coaching actually, which was amazing. It was really emotional and very therapeutic, but what came out of it is how much I appreciate her and how much love I have for her and everything she does. And she's just amazing. And then I've got wonderful Emma who does my social media. So she does kind of schedules it, comes up with content ideas, posts, comments, answers queries, which is a huge job.
And it must be important for your business because it's so visual what you do.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and it's stunning. So you want people to see what you're doing.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Social media must be quite a big part of the business, I would say.
Huge, actually. Yeah, just kind of coming up with ideas and concepts and, you know, stuff that resonates, stuff that's honest, comes from the heart, you know.
And what about your home? Listen, I hear things. I hear things through the grapevine. You know, we have some mutual friends. But I also have, you know, I think I've seen glimpses of your home.
Yeah, so I've got a personal Instagram account, and the last house we had was in Ideal Home magazine, Red magazine, Wilden Times. So this one at some point we will get shot, but I've got to finish it. So I spent kind of about 12 months project managing, building the house we're in now.
Wow.
We renovated it, which was the tail end of that was through COVID and homeschooling and running the business and
How was that?
Oh, it was incredibly stressful. But you know what? It was one of those situations where you just have to cut yourself a break and go, well, I can only do what I can do. I'm only one, but I am one.
I went and sort of camped in my yurt for about a month.
Wow.
And had lots of sort of, did lots of meditating.
Nice.
I just curled up on a blanket a couple of times.
Yeah,
I mean, my
perfect.
kids were here. I was looking after them in lockdown.
Yeah.
But I did literally sort of go to ground because I was just like, I can't actually do this.
I remember phoning my brother and going, I'm crying every day. But I think that's a good thing because it means I know that I'm really sad. I was like, you just had to go through it, right?
Yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
going back to it's a journey,
Yeah.
And it's easier now with hindsight, obviously, because now we're like, okay, we've been through this once. When another lockdown comes, hopefully not, but if it does, we've been here. We know how to cope. We know what we can do, what we can't do, and that better days will come, right? I spent my whole summer partying because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to
get it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what do you love about renovating? So you renovate places and then you say, oh, well, we need to move on.
Yeah.
Is it like, it's a process, something that you do, and then when you finish, then it's like on to the next thing?
Yeah, I think I get bored easily.
Yeah. I mean, do you think you're ever going to renovate somewhere and stay?
Possibly.
Do you have any places that you keep?
I do love the house we're in now, and I do think for the boys we'll be here for quite a while.
Yeah.
And also because my life is so full right now that I can't really take anything else on. And I love it. It's an amazing house. It's just everything we could have dreamed of. It's so beautiful. It's wonderful. I absolutely love it. But it needs finishing, which really annoys me. So at the moment, I'm like, I'm planning to take some time off in January just to kind of go, right, I'm going to concentrate on just, getting some wallpaper up and kind of finishing the interior, really. All the bones are there, but there's not any colour, and it's all, we painted it during lockdown with a load of white paint ourselves because obviously we couldn't get anyone on site. And it's just, it's white everywhere pretty much. Apart from I've got a black bathroom, that's black.
Oh,
but the whole house is black. Yeah, the whole house is black. It's like black bricks, black wood, black zinc roof. Yeah.
Amazing.
But inside it's really light and it's got double story, so it's full of light inside.
I would love to build. That is something I would love to do.
Yeah,
it's
is
just
fantastic.
Probably in a different country, but I would love to. But I would love to do that. But that process, I mean, I sort of living on. I've slept on a few floors that haven't got finished, and just that living in a bit of chaos is not for the faint-hearted.
No, I mean, we did rent because we didn't. There wasn't a roof, or we've got 3 kids, so we rented down the road whilst we were building it, which we were really fortunate to be able to do. So that made it a lot easier. But
so what are the things that make you really tick? What are the things that you love? Obviously you love, there's a lot of love there. I can see that. And you love people, and you love your friends and your family, not in that order.
Yes.
And you love being creative.
Yes.
But what are the things that you love to do and enjoy the most about life as well?
I discovered recently my love of gardening. That really came about in lockdown. Yeah. I was at Chelsea Flower Show yesterday, which was amazing with my parents. It was their Christmas present. So we went there yesterday, which was really good fun. But yeah, I would say for me, gardening has found something new in me and fed something. If I have any spare time, I'll be out there. It ticks all my boxes. And I just think it's time for me to really zone out. I can think of nothing, or I can think of everything, and I can just get lost in it. And it's a bit like how you I'm working on this thing in my head at the moment, because the other thing I discovered during COVID was poetry. Like I used to write poetry all the time when I was a teenager, and now I write loads more. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really good at this. And like I send it to my friends. I write poems for my friends and send them to them, and they love it. They're like, this is really good. I'm like, thanks. I think it is. I'm really proud of this. Thanks. I mean, I'm not like ready to publish or anything yet, but that's fine. I don't even need to publish it, right? I'm making.
That's not what poetry's about.
No, absolutely.
It's about you and your soul.
Yeah, totally. And it's about sharing with people that you love how much you love them.
That's and thank you for my flowers that you bought.
Oh, you're
welcome.
Flowers from my
your garden, which is beautiful. And that's honestly, like if people give me flowers, if they're flowers that they've picked themselves
and grown.
Yeah, I know. It's just someone that works with us had posted something the other day about her husband had grown a rose, and it's just it's that thing, isn't it? It's amazing. Yeah. But poetry as well. I mean, I remember being a youngster. I obviously liked writing on walls when I was younger, but I literally used to write poems on my walls.
How cool.
And that kind of
I used to write on my walls when I was a
style
teenager.
writing.
Yes.
Like the curly,
nice.
You know, it was all
Yeah.
about that. But I remember I
Perfect,
really
amazing.
did. But my poems were quite dark. I don't know if I'm
Were
ready
they?
to
Yeah.
share them.
Well, it's interesting. The other day I challenged myself to write a happy poem.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, and it's actually I can find that when I'm in an emotionally sad place, I find it much easier to write poetry than when I'm in a very happy place.
That's interesting.
So I'm trying to, when I'm in a happy place, write more poetry there.
I'm sure if you write about your friends, it's probably happy.
Well, yes.
And how have you found not being able to go away? I bet you love travel, I would imagine.
Yes, I do love travel, but I'm more about the people I'm with than the place I'm with.
Okay.
So I found that okay not going away, and we were lucky enough to get away in the UK actually, with our best friends and their kids. So for me, that's good enough. I think just going somewhere new, just a change of environment for me is quite important. Just, walking streets and looking at views and just taking that time out, just stopping is really important. It's really important to just stop.
And you, so, I mean, you mentioned you're in Birmingham and then you've been, so you're born and bred Tunbridge Wells,
Yes,
really, aren't
I am,
you?
totally.
I mean, literally, Ash, our videographer, I picked him up this morning and he's always like, who are we talking to today? And he's like, how are all these people from Tunbridge Wells? Like, how, we're on like sort of episode 34 and there's so many more coming out and they're all people that fascinate me in our town.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's incredible?
I find our town totally incredible. I love the fact that you can meet someone and we were talking earlier about how you can just be like slightly separated, like how everyone you
sliding
meet
doors.
goes,
Just one moment.
Yeah.
But
totally.
everyone's got some kind of.
I love our town so much. I mean, obviously, when I was growing up and I was a teenager, I was like, right, when can I get out of this town? I can't stand it. It's so small-minded. Rah! And then obviously, kind of travelled and went around the world and went, oh my gosh, I want to bring up my children in that amazing, beautiful town that's an hour from London, an hour from the coast. It's the most perfect place in the world.
Yeah.
And it's full of small entrepreneurial businesses.
Yeah.
It's got some big businesses. It's got everything anyone could want. I love our town.
I love our town too. I do. Listen, I love everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
With your charities, just before we sort of wrap up, do you donate to lots of different charities?
Yeah,
Is there any specific you'd like to mention today?
We donate to Hospice in the Weald.
Yeah.
There's another charity in Southport called Nova that's used to be part of Bernarda's, but it's separate now, and it's for it's respite care for terminally kind of disabled children. So it gives parents
I've not
and
heard of that
carers.
one.
Yeah, it's a very small charity.
Yeah.
That we support them through our placemats. And then Young Minds is a charity that we've recently started supporting.
Yeah.
Through our, actually, Hugh from Humour, obviously there's a link. He designed us a graffiti alphabet font.
Amazing.
And so we use that for prints for kids' rooms. So we kind of just sell the prints basically in these graffiti fonts so people can personalise them.
He's taking my clock this week. It's hot off the press. I've got a grandfather clock that my father left me. And I've said to him I want him just to go crazy.
Oh, amazing.
So he's going to do my grandfather clock
so
for
talented.
me. He was like, what do you want? And I was like, as long as there's a little B in there somewhere for my dad, just
nice.
go crazy. Because I told him what I wanted to hear and then I just said, but that's the thing I love.
Yeah.
And the thing, with someone like yourself, obviously I
Yeah.
desperately want you to be making me some lips to go in here.
Yeah, that
but
would look so
but
cool.
it was that, I'm sure people have that with you where they're like, just give me some of that love.
Yes, totally.
Give me some of that love.
And I would really like to end this on, if I have any message to give in this, it would be when you go out into the world, it is the responsibility of all of us to put more love into the world. I mean, I'm kind of like on a personal mission, but people often kind of think, well, I don't know how to do it. You can do that so many ways. You can do that through volunteering.
Yeah.
You can do that through giving your time to people. You can do that by yarn bombing.
Yeah.
You can do that by
yarn bombing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, you can do that
through
giving compliments.
Totally.
I
Just
wore
being
this.
kind.
I happened to wear this dress yesterday at Chelsea, and I got 6 compliments. 6 people, 6 random strangers said to me, "Oh my gosh, what a beautiful dress!" from the Meek boutique, Lynn Meek, lovely Lynn Meek. It made my day, right? So just go out there, be vulnerable, give compliments, put more love into the world, and you will get it back 100 times.
That's a really lovely way to end this.
Oh, I've loved talking to you.
I've loved talking to you, honestly. I mean, and I think just kindness and happiness. It just, you're very positive. You're very, it's just
It's infectious.
It is infectious, and I love that. It's really lovely. So thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me.
People want to find you. Obviously, they can find you. We've mentioned where they can, but what's the best place to find you, Hannah?
So you can follow us on our socials, and on our socials, our handle is Love Inc, which is INC Ltd, and equally you can find our website, which is the same .co.uk, and you can get in touch with us any way you want. And we love hearing from people. We love listening to your ideas, and we love getting inspiration from the things people bring to us, and
amazing,
showing the love.
And maybe when you've finished your house, you can come on and tell us all about your house.
Oh, I'd love to do that. That would be amazing.
Or we can come and film your house.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun.
Why don't we just do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Why don't we just do a
100%.
podcast? We do that
100%.
roadshow. We can do it in your house.
Yes.
We could have a chat with some different people.
Yes.
Okay, done. Let's
Love
do
it.
that. We'll
That's
do
a
that.
great idea.
Okay, well, listen, it's so good to... Big love to you, Hannah.
Yes, and to you.
That's all I can say. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved it. Thank you.